Welcome to the AI Queens podcast, the show where women entrepreneurs learn to ditch the overwhelm, embrace AI, and build businesses fit for royalty. I'm Erika Stanley, your host and tech expert, here to deliver tools, tips, and actionable strategies to help you scale smarter. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to AI Queens, and welcome to our season finale. Now, I know most business podcasts would end their season with a highlight reel of wins and success stories, but that's not how we roll here. So I'm about to do something that is going to make my accountant cry a little and my business coach maybe question my judgment. Instead, I am going to share my most expensive AI failures with all of you. And when I say expensive, I really mean it. We're talking over $6,000 in combined direct costs and the countless hours that I could have spent actually making money instead of chasing shiny AI objects like a squirrel with a credit card. But here's why I'm sharing this with you. These failures have taught me more about AI than any success story ever could. And if my expensive mistakes can save you from making the same ones, then every dollar was worth it. Now, before we dive into today's episode about my most expensive AI failures, I have to share a win with you that happened just this week. So, I've been using this Chrome extension called Magical AI for almost a year now. It's got a ton of features, but honestly, the only one I ever used, it's the text expander. Basically, I type in a shortcut and it expands the text for me. It's been perfect for saving prompts or pieces of prompts that I use over and over again, or for simply pasting in the hyperlink for my calendar scheduler. For example, I would type in //fit and the magical extension would replace that with, quote, "Here's a link to my calendar. Feel free to find a time that fits with your schedule." And then it would magically insert the hyperlink to my calendar. It's genius. Well, last week, they changed their pricing structure and I ran out of free credits, so I couldn't use the Chrome extension anymore. And I went onto their website. It was $6.99 a month to upgrade. But I thought, you know what? Let me see if I can build something myself using the new coding capabilities in GPT-5. Now, granted, this is only using a small portion of Magical's capabilities. It's got so much other stuff. But you guys, I was able to code my own solution to this in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I built a full Chrome extension, installed it myself, and it works perfectly. It works exactly like the original. And now I have full access to add all the snippets and shortcuts I want without being maxed out and without having to pay for it. I know it might seem like I'm some magical, yes, pun intended, some magical AI mastermind that I was able to do this in 20 minutes. But here's the thing. If I can do it, you absolutely can too. Don't be afraid to get in there and fail and spend a little time playing around. And yeah, I know this week's episode is literally about my failures and how you can avoid them, but that's exactly my point. Don't be afraid to fail and try things out because that's how you learn. Oh, and I'm actually going to put this Chrome extension up on my Substack, so keep an eye out for that. I want other people to have access to this magic. It's actually a question I get asked sometimes if there's a place where I save my frequently used prompts. And before this week, I didn't have a really good answer. All I had was this Chrome extension. Now I do, and it's something that I built myself. So how freaking cool is that? So now that I've shared my win, let's talk about some spectacular failures. Failure number one, the $500 a month tool addiction. And y'all have heard me talk about this before, but let me take you back down memory lane. Picture this. It's early 2024 and AI tools are dropping faster than Taylor Swift albums. Every day, there's a new revolutionary tool promising to transform my business. And I had the worst case of FOMO you have ever seen. I was like that person who goes to Costco hungry and then comes home with 25 different types of crackers they'll never eat, except my crackers cost $29.99 a month, and promised to leverage the power of artificial intelligence to revolutionize my workflow. We've all heard that one before. So let me break down the damage for you. I had like 4 different AI writing tools because apparently ChatGPT and Claude weren't enough. I had multiple image and video generators because I needed all those extra options. I had multiple automation platforms that literally did the exact same thing. And my personal favorite, I had an AI tool for organizing and aggregating my other AI tools. I wish I was kidding. The wake-up call came when I was checking my banking software for recurring charges, and I realized that I was up to around $500 a month. Here's the thing that really got me. I had tools I'd literally forgotten that I was paying for. There was this one design tool that cost me $79 a month, and I'd been paying for it for over a year, and I'd logged into it exactly twice. That's over $900 down the drain because I fell for good marketing without considering my actual workflow. Now, the recovery process for this was brutal, but necessary. I call it the Great AI Tool Audit, and I did a whole episode on it and wrote a whole Substack, and there's a AI tech stack guide on my Substack. But basically, I went through every single recurring charge and I asked myself, does this actually save me time? Does it make me money? Or am I just paying for the illusion of productivity? Do I already have a tool that does this exact same thing that I like better? And through doing that, I went from $500 a month down to $91 a month. And you know what? My productivity actually increased because I wasn't constantly switching back and forth between 17 different tools. Failure number 2, my strategic storytelling bot. Now, this one really hurts because it was such a good idea in theory. I had created this amazing custom GPT for my own strategic storytelling. I use it all the time for LinkedIn, for Substack, gosh, sometimes for this podcast. It knows my brand, my voice, my methodology inside and out. I mean, it's like having a writing partner who really totally understands me. So naturally, I thought, I should create a version of this for other entrepreneurs, and I should put it up on my Substack as a bonus. And this vision was beautiful. It was a bot that could help any other business owner craft strategic stories that connect with their audience. I was going to solve everyone's storytelling problems with this one magical custom GPT. But here's where I went wrong. I spent over 10 hours, and that's a conservative estimate, trying to make it broad enough for everyone to use, yet custom enough to still be valuable. For me, that's $2,300 in billable time. I could have done a VIP day and a half with that time and actually made money instead of burning it. But the real kicker here is that the more specific I made it, the harder it was to use. And the more broad I made it, the worse it got. Because obviously, strategic storytelling isn't one size fits all. The reason my personal storytelling bot works so well is because it knows my brand, my audience, my specific challenges and wins. So I kept tweaking and perfecting, falling into what I call the perfectionist trap. And instead of testing it with real users early on, I just kept trying to make it perfect in isolation, which is a classic mistake. The bot is still sitting in my ChatGPT account, unfinished and unlaunched. But you know what? That failure taught me something crucial about my brand to bot blueprint process. It's the reason why it works. And that's because we start with your specific brand clarity before we even touch any AI tools. And that's what really makes it work. Moving on to failure number 3, the great proposal disaster. And this one still makes me cringe a little. I want you to imagine me under a tight deadline for a client proposal because I'm not just the queen of AI, I'm also the queen of procrastination. And I decided to let AI help me brainstorm strategic recommendations. Smart move, right? AI can help me think faster and consider angles I might miss. Except I made one fatal error. I trusted the AI's output without thoroughly reviewing it through the lens of this specific client's business goals. It was after 1 a.m. I just wanted to go to bed. So there I am, the very next week, sitting in this client meeting on Zoom, going through all of the strategic recommendations, feeling pretty confident. Until we get to this one section where the AI had suggested something that did not make sense for them at all. The client looked at me and was like, that doesn't make sense for our business. We're not there yet. And I'm sitting there scanning through this thinking, oh no. I had to do this awkward backpedal. Oh, that's something you consider way in the future. Just a hypothetical exploration. Not right for you right now. Totally fine. I can easily remove that section. The client was gracious about it, but I could see the question in their eyes. Like, does she actually understand our business goals? I still landed the client, albeit at a lower project price than I had hoped. But that moment taught me, yes, AI can help you think faster, but it absolutely cannot think for you. When it comes to client strategy, AI is your research assistant. And that assistant can sometimes make mistakes and oversights. At the end of the day, the strategic thinking is still on you. So make sure you review everything thoroughly before you hit send. This last one, I want to talk about failure number 4, the image generation time sink. This one, it's not about a specific incident, but rather a pattern that I fall into and I see other business owners falling into over and over again. And my specific incident is with AI image generation. Now, for me, here's what happens. I start with a simple goal. Maybe I need a header image for a blog post or some social media graphics or some backgrounds for a client project. I open up Midjourney or ChatGPT thinking, okay, this is just going to take me like 10, 15 minutes. But then I get results that are, we'll say, not quite right. Maybe the composition is off or the colors don't quite match, or there's some weird AI looking thing that makes it unusable. So I tweak, I change the prompt up, I try again and again and again. And before you know it, I've been at this thing for 2 hours, getting increasingly frustrated with each iteration. The AI would give me 6-fingered hands that looked like alien appendages, floating torsos sitting on a desk like some surreal art installation from a Dali painting. Or my personal favorite, when I'd specify the hex color codes in a color palette, and the AI would literally write the codes in the image instead of applying them as colors. And all of this is funny and yuck. Oh, you're wasting time. But here's the real problem. I just kept going. I'd tell myself like, oh, I'm so close to getting it right. Just one more prompt adjustment. And it becomes this weird form of digital gambling where I'm convinced the next try is going to be the winner. Now here, the hidden cost, it's not the subscription fees per se, it's the opportunity cost. It's hours that could have been spent on revenue generating activities, on moving the client project forward. And I mean, honestly, I maybe could have even just hired a designer and had professional results in a fraction of the time. This is when I realized that I was falling into what I now call the research that becomes doom scrolling trap. You know how you can start researching something legitimate, especially with social media, and then hours later, you're watching TikToks about upcycling a tablecloth into a sundress. AI experimentation can become the same thing. It's expensive procrastination disguised as learning. Now, the lesson here is about setting boundaries. When you're learning something new, and in particular with AI, you are going to waste time and therefore money. And that's okay, as long as you're learning productively. Set time limits for experimentation and know when to say when. Just like social media research can become doom scrolling, AI experimentation can become expensive procrastination if you don't have guardrails in place. All right, here's why failure is your friend. And here's what I want you to understand about these failures. They weren't just expensive mistakes, they were the most valuable market research I've ever done. And yes, in billable time and actual dollars wasted, yeah, they cost me over $6,000 in 1 year. But each one of these disasters taught me something I couldn't have learned any other way. The tool addiction taught me about focus and intentional spending. The storytelling bot showed me why customization matters so much. The proposal disaster reinforced that AI is a tool, not a replacement for expertise. And the image generation time sink is teaching me about setting boundaries. But here's the thing that really changed my perspective. I'm actually more confident in my AI recommendations now because I've made these mistakes. When a client asks me about a specific tool, I don't just know the marketing promises of that tool, I know the real world limitations. When someone wants to rush into AI implementation for their business, I can share exactly why that's dangerous without a strategy and without laying out their goals first. Credibility doesn't just come from a perfect track record. It comes from scars and stories and the wisdom that only comes from being in the trenches. My clients trust me because I failed forward, not because I've never failed at all. And this is exactly what I teach in the Brand to Bot Blueprint. We, of course, start with your brand clarity and your expertise first. Then we add in AI strategically, because I've learned the hard way that AI without strategy is just expensive chaos. So, how do you build your own failure tolerance without risking your business? Here's what I recommend. Set clear boundaries on both time and money for AI experimentation. I have a monthly AI play money budget of $50 and a maximum of 2 to 3 hours per week for testing new tools. If something doesn't prove its value within those time constraints, it gets cut. Also, create learning systems that minimize expensive mistakes. Before I invest in any new AI tool or spend significant time on a project, I ask myself 3 questions. What specific problem am I trying to solve? How will I measure success? And what's my exit strategy if this doesn't work? What's my plan B? Remember, failure is data, not defeat. Every mistake teaches you something about what works, what doesn't, and what your business actually needs versus what the marketing promises. All right. I can't believe we're already at the end of season 1 of AI Queens. When I started this podcast back at the end of February, honestly, I wasn't sure if anyone would want to hear what I had to say, this real unfiltered take on AI in business. And it turns out you all were thirsty for authenticity in a space that's full of hype and breaking tech news and bro culture. But after thousands of downloads from people in 22 countries and a global ranking putting me in the top 10% of podcasts, which feels surreal, I can honestly say that I love it. So thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for listening when I shared my wins, and thank you for sticking around when I shared my failures. Thank you for the DMs and the emails telling me that an episode helped you avoid a costly mistake, or that you loved it and sent it to a friend, or that it gave you the confidence to try something new. This season has taught me so much, not just about AI, but about business, about authenticity, and about the power of admitting when you don't have all the answers. This AI space, it needs more honesty and less hype. And I'm committed to continuing to bring you both those successes and, the spectacular failures. And in between seasons, I have some bonus episodes lined up for you. They're coming your way, so make sure you're subscribed. You are not getting rid of me that easily. I'll still be coming at you pretty regularly, almost weekly, with some other podcast appearances, some workshops, and other gems to hold you over until season 2. Speaking of season 2, we're going bigger. I am going to be bringing on guests, other entrepreneurs who are using AI strategically, experts who can dive deeper into specific tools and techniques, and yeah, probably some people who will share their own expensive mistakes. But no matter how big this show gets, I promise you, I will always maintain this real, authentic approach to AI because the moment this becomes another AI hype machine is the moment I've lost what makes this show special. Here's my final challenge to you as we wrap up season 1. I want you to think about one AI experiment you've been avoiding because you're afraid of failing. Maybe it's trying a new tool or automating a process, or even just asking ChatGPT to help you with something you've been struggling with. What if that failure is exactly the data you need? What if it's not a waste of time, but it's the fastest way to learn what actually works for you and your business? Set a boundary, time or money or both, and give yourself permission to fail forward. Because on the other side of that failure might be the breakthrough you've been looking for. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your own AI failures. Share them in comments or messages to me, send me a DM, or just remember them as proof that you're trying, you're learning, and that you're not afraid to experiment. And make sure you're subscribed because season 2 is going to be incredible. I've got some awesome guests lined up, and we're just getting started, queens. Until next time, keep questioning the robots, keep failing forward, and keep reigning over your business with AI. Oh, and don't forget that Chrome extension I built. It's going to be up on my Substack this week. If you want access to the tool, it's going to save me $84 a year and at least 30 minutes a week. Make sure you're subscribed to my Substack. And also the link is going to be in the show notes. And if you're ready to stop making expensive AI mistakes and start implementing AI strategically in your business, don't forget to check out the Brand to Bot Blueprint. We start with brand clarity and expertise. Then we build AI systems that actually work for your specific business. Because the goal isn't just to use AI for anything and everything. I really want you to use it strategically and profitably. Until next season, this is Erika Stanley reminding you that the best AI strategy is the one that really amplifies, turns up the volume on your expertise. Keep being brilliant, queens.
Thanks for listening to the AI Queens podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow queen who needs to hear this. Want more tips and tools? Join the AI Queens Society at aiqueenssociety.com and start ruling your business with confidence today. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep reigning with AI.